Today on the Diz List, we discuss the top 5 things to do if you have one day at Walt Disney World.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that ranks everything in Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and welcome to episode 52, where we discuss the top 5 things to do if you have one day at Walt Disney World.
Add a day? Is that the one thing you're going to do, is add a day?
Yes. Actually, what I was going to say is I just put my finger in the air and I pointed number 1, and I'm like, man, we're teachers, so we're so used to performing and moving in front of students every day that I put my finger up. I'm like, nobody can see me do this.
Hey, so you saw a new movie yesterday.
I did. We wanted to go with the whole family, but both kids had plans, which is fine. You know, they're doing stuff with their friends, and it's summer vacation here. So my wife and I said, let's go see a movie. And we actually, at first, we were going to go see Little Mermaid, which we haven't seen yet either.
Okay.
And you haven't? No. All right. You like watching them in the comfort of your own home.
I do. I would see Little Mermaid if my daughter had really wanted to see it, because that's like one of her favorites of all time.
Yeah. And
she agrees we'll wait till it comes out on Disney Plus. And I think that's partially what you're seeing with the movie you saw.
Yeah.
And why it's not such a big box office hit.
Yes.
So
we showed up at the movies, and when we arrived there, I said, so my son was in the play The Little Mermaid this past year. For new listeners, my son's in drama club, and he played Grimsby. If you know who that character is, and we said, we're gonna wait. We'll wait and watch it with him, because we're assuming that character is in the movie. I don't know, but we got there. I turned to my wife and I said, let's go see Elemental. Why not? And I've heard mixed things about it, but one surprise that I either didn't know or somebody had told me and I had forgotten is there was a Pixar short before the movie.
Oh, really?
Did you know that?
I had probably, I'd heard it in passing. Yes. Okay. And I heard it's actually a pretty good short.
It is very good. It is very good, and it's very emotional, and it features Carl Fredricksen and Doug.
Oh, no.
And it is hilarious.
Yeah, but like the minute you say like emotional,
yes.
Carl Fredricksen and Doug, I'm done.
Doug was so funny.
I'm not ashamed to admit that I have cried it up.
Oh, you will cry at this also. It is just a short, but it is very powerful and very, very funny. Okay. Doug is fantastic. And after that short ended, I said to myself, Doug is definitely one of my favorite Disney characters right now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Doug was so funny.
Was he wearing his collar so he could speak?
Correct.
Oh, nice.
And Doug said a lot of things that I feel like my dog says all the time.
Like, you don't have personal space? Did he say that?
My dog has no personal space and loves to get in everybody's face. I have an English bulldog, and she loves to be very close.
Yeah. She also smells like she ate a quart of beans every day. Bulldogs, any smushed faced dog, that's kind of like their MO is that look out for the gas.
And they're very loud. Their breathing sounds like just walking around snoring all the time.
I love Georgie though. Your dog's great.
Georgie's a good dog. If she had the collar, I think Georgie would say a lot of things similar to Doug. So that was great. And then we saw Elemental. Elemental reminded me a lot of Zootopia and a lot of Inside Out. So if you took Zootopia and Inside Out and made it a movie, it was this. It was rated PG. They sort of implied a curse word at one point, which was kind of funny. It's it's a love story. It also has elements of Romeo and Juliet. The colors were great. It was very bright and vibrant, and it was good. I wouldn't say it was great, but I would say it's a good movie and worth checking out.
I don't think it's a bad movie, and that's why it's not doing well. I think it's not doing well because people are used to being able to see movies in the comfort of their homes. There was a time when every small town, large town, doesn't matter what, had a video rental store. Well, those days are gone.
I used to work at one.
And now I think that you're going to see, and I don't want it to go this way, but I think you will see movie theaters not being the places in small towns anymore, or smaller towns. I know small towns, real small towns don't have them, but like our town has one, and I could see it getting to a point where a town our size doesn't, and you'd have to drive to, the closer to the suburbs of Rochester or Buffalo to go to a movie theater. And as much as I don't want to see that go away, I don't like going to the movies, and that's just me. But I do want for the industry for it to be there still.
Well, one of my childhood friends actually just bought the old drive-in in the town where I grew up.
I saw you post about that.
Yeah. So my friend, this drive-in movie was there for years and years. I remember seeing Fox and the Hound there, and The Black Hole. And I don't think we went very often. We went to another place too, but I had clear memory of going to this drive-in, and it's been there, overgrown for years. The last time it showed a movie, I think they said, was 1985. And my friend Paul bought it, and he is building like this giant barn for the snacks, and Paul's goal is to turn it into an event. So the reason I thought of this and how it's related is going to the movies, Paul sees as like a big event, not just going and sitting down, like going with your family, getting food, kind of like camping out. He wants to do weddings. He wants to do car shows there. He wants to make it into like a bigger, more of a family kind of environment.
That's great.
I think that maybe that's part of the future of movies is more of an experience than anything else, because you can get the movie sitting in a theater, but this is a little bit, you get a lot of extras if you go to the drive-in movie.
Yeah. I think also like movies have started to price themselves out for families.
Yeah.
Speaking of pricing people out.
Oh yeah, that brings us to Disney news for this week.
Disney Genie Plus announced this week that Disney announced that Genie Plus is now moving to a different pricing per park. And at first I was like, that sounds good. And then I looked at what they were actually doing. So it's now even more complicated because like I'm going with park hoppers. And so if I want to buy a multi-park Genie Plus, I have to purchase the most expensive level. Okay. I've already spent the add-on price for your hopper. And now that add-on, in addition to that add-on price, I'm spending more for Genie Plus if I want to use it. In short, what that tells me is Disney, when they announced earlier this year, they're looking to make Disney Genie Plus easier and more user-friendly. What that was code for is we want to make it harder.
You're not wrong.
More expensive, more confusing, and we don't care what you think. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
This is a tone-deaf decision that I'm quite upset about.
Yeah.
Not because I planned to utilize it a ton, but because it just proves to me what I said all along is wait for the new Bob shine to wear off. A businessman is a businessman for a reason, and it's all about the money.
Well, it is. And when I read this article, I thought to myself, okay, people are not buying Genie Plus when they go to Animal Kingdom or when they go to Epcot. That was us. When we went, we didn't buy Genie Plus for those two parks. So they're losing that money from us because we know better, right? I think their goal here is, okay, we'll make it a little cheaper. So guys like Rob and Nick now may pay that because it all goes back to they want that money. They want us to now pay for it if they're going to get an experience for cheaper. But I don't know. Is that better? Is that more convenient? I don't think so. And I don't know what they could do. And I don't know if they've announced specifically what is different. And if they have, please tell me. But I just saw that they're changing it and making it cheaper and a different, process or different tier. So what are you looking at there?
So on June 27th, here are what the costs are. Magic Kingdom, $27 per guest. Epcot, $18 a guest.
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios, $24 a guest. Animal Kingdom, $16 a guest. Multiple parks, $27 a guest.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing. Last summer, it was $15 no matter where. Did I mention $15 in any of those? Nope.
No, the cheapest one is not even that.
So I'm at a point where it's like, we know we get it, right? You want to squeeze us for every last drop. you're squeezing until you get no more water. You're wringing out that towel. And at this point, Disney has a lot of incentives to travel this summer. And you don't put things on sale that are selling real well.
Yeah.
So why are they doing this? There's no incentive. This does not incentivize people. This disincentivizes people. And they're struggling to get, now people will say that this is not true, but they are struggling to get attendance up, right? I've seen videos of people in the park and they are not good for the first week of summer break.
No.
I've seen one discount after the other roll out. Okay. If you go to a clothing store and the most popular shoes, right? If you go to, you're going to a shoe store. Air Jordans are not on sale.
How often are we talking about Air Jordans on this show? Continue.
So, but they're not on sale. And the reason they're not on sale is because they're selling for the $350.
Yeah.
The sneakerheads are going to buy them. They don't need to discount them. Now the Skechers, they're on sale because nobody wants them. The New Balance all white. Unless you're a 45-year-old dad like us, you don't want them.
I don't want them either.
You don't want to mow the lawn in your white sneakers.
I'll mow them in Crocs, which is just as dorky.
Yeah. So I love Disney. I love the parks, and them do a lot of things right. They continually miss the mark with Genie Plus, and I think it is time to start voting with your wallet and just not get it.
Yeah,
I mean, getting Genie Plus for $27 at Magic Kingdom, it might be worth $27 at Magic Kingdom, to be perfectly honest, because there's that many rides. But if you know that you're only going to Animal Kingdom or only going to Epcot, getting duped, because that's what it is, you're getting tricked into paying $18 or $16 for those parks, there's not enough rides to justify that. There just isn't. You're not saving enough time in those lines, especially if you take care of proper planning. You use touring plans or some other service that tells you, hey, look, this is a good way to go. It's not a good look on Disney in my opinion. But
no, definitely not.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, stay tuned for all these changes that we're going to be seeing. I'm betting this is not the last change that you will see.
No, I don't think so either. So do you want to tell us who's sponsoring our halftime show?
I am very happy to say that this halftime show is sponsored by a patron who is a longtime friend and a longtime listener that I've known since college, and that is my friend Mikey. Mikey has been listening since the very beginning and is a new patron of the show. And again, we really appreciate all of our patrons, including Mikey. But this specific halftime show is brought to you by Mikey.
Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&A and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since we discovered Spotify for Podcasters, we've been able to share our love for Disney with others just like us. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today. Welcome back to the Diz List. Today we are going to count down the top 5 things we think you should do if you have just one day at the parks. This was an episode that was recommended or requested from one of our loyal listeners and patrons, Jessica. So if you have an idea for an episode for us, we would love for you to comment in one of our Instagram posts, reach out via Instagram Messenger, say something in on Facebook or Twitter. Reach out to us. Let us know, because we love doing these ones, because they're things that we don't necessarily think of, and we want to make sure we're giving you guys what you want. And this is a great one because it really made me think. Instinctually, my first thought was, why are you going for a day?
I don't want to go for one day.
But there are times when you're in Orlando or you're in Florida. Maybe you're down there to see family. Maybe you're down there on a work excursion. Maybe, like Jessica, you're down there to pick up your annual pass holder magnet, and you have one day.
Oh, well.
But like whatever the case may be, you have one day. What do you do? What is it you do? So I think this is a really good one. It really made me think. And for me, I reached out to her and I said, when you asked this, what did you mean? Did you mean what tips do we have if you go one day, or what would we do? And she said, I was interested in what you would do. So I'm actually, that's kind of the way that I took to go at this, to attack this. Some of these things are tips. But they are what I would do if I had one day at the parks. So you want to start off?
Yeah, I don't want just one day at the park. So my 1 through 5 is add another day. I'm done. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't.
Yeah, that would go over real well.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you folks. Number 5 actually is kind of a fun one, and this has changed positions in my order because a lot of them end up kind of relating to one another. My number 5 is actually going to be eat a meal at your favorite restaurant. So if you've been to Disney before, so there's a lot of like, if this, if that. So I'm going to assume here that you've already been to Disney. You already love Skipper Canteen, for an example. It's one of my favorites. And if I had one day there, what would I want to do? I would like to kind of schedule everything around this awesome restaurant that I love, and that is Skipper Canteen. Just as an example, I'm not saying that one specifically. You like what you like. Make sure you book it in advance. Nick can talk more about that. He knows all the numbers of how long. Book that in advance, and then schedule everything around that wonderful meal that you can make as kind of the center of your day. Now, my others are going to kind of be different kind of plans of things that you could do, but this one in particular I thought would be, if you're kind of a foodie or you really, really love one particular restaurant, make sure you hit up that restaurant, okay? So my number 5, eat a meal at your favorite restaurant, book in advance.
I am shocked that you said that. And I'm shocked that you named a table service.
Yeah. I am evolving in my Disney World fandom. And the reason Nick is saying that, I know why, because I'm not really a food guy, but I love that place. I mean, there's a handful of restaurants that I think are dynamite, and that is one of them.
Hey, you're not wrong. That place is very good. I would say that you're not wrong about the food, but I actually, and you'll be shocked about this too. So I'm shocked because you put that on your list.
Yeah.
And I do not have a single table service thing on my list.
Wow.
In fact, what I would say is that one of my honorable mentions would have been, what I would do is to actually skip a table service.
Oh.
Even though I'm a table service guy.
And that, yeah. And again, it's just a different way of approaching that one single day. Yeah. Maybe you skip it to do other things. Yeah. Okay, cool. What'd you have for 5 then?
So my number 5 is very specific.
Oh.
About what I would do if I only had one day. If I only had one day and I wanted to experience really the most that you can.
Sure. I
would, make sure that I'm staying somewhere where early entry is possible. So I got to stay at a Disney resort, right? You're on property. And I would rope drop / early entry. Okay. Specifically for me, I would rope drop or early entry Epcot.
All right.
If I'm talking for me, that's what I'm doing. And so I'm thinking of this as, if I've got one day in the parks, I'm doing the rope drop and early. Number 5 for me is rope dropping and early entry at Epcot. And I'm going to be even more specific. I'm going to be trying my darndest to stay at a place that I can rope drop or early entry from World Showcase.
So you posted a video on our Dizlist social media Today or last night?
Last night.
I saw it this morning.
And I specifically was making my list when I posted it.
Ah, that's how that relates.
Yeah.
Because there is a video of you walking from Beach Club.
From Beach Club into, it's like, and then it cuts to us going in line for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
Now, was that when you stayed there or when we were together and we walked?
We were together. We walked through.
Okay.
Like when the guard at the gate was like, "You are not supposed to be doing what you're doing, but I'm going to pretend I didn't see you." And I was like, "Well, we're getting food at the marketplace." He's like, "People who stay here don't eat at the marketplace." What are you talking about? So, yeah, that's what for me. Wherever you're going, whichever park you're going to, you should be rope dropping or early entry if you've got one day at the park, because you're going to get so much more bang for your buck in those first hour and a half, 2 hours at the park than if you wait. And even if you wait just to when the park opens and arrive then, you're going to regret it, because you are not going to get done what you thought you were going to get done. No matter, I don't care how little you thought you were going to get done.
Yep.
If you show up at 9 o'clock, you're going to get done half as much as you thought you were. And if you thought you were going to get done 4 rides, you're only getting 2, because that's just the way it works. It always does. Early entry / rope drop, the park of choice for me, that's Epcot.
My number 4 is directly connected and related to that. And again, folks, we don't talk about these in advance. We discover them as we go. My number 4 is Marathon Day, which I have done many, many, many times. A Marathon Day is a day where you show up at Rope Drop, or you can be smart like Nick said, and you can stay at a Disney resort where you get to do the early entry, and you go open to close, which we used to do all the time with young kids. It's funny, we do it less now, but we did it way more when the kids were younger, because, we don't have as much money, teachers are not millionaires, so we want to get bang for our buck. We wanted every possible minute. So I thought, well, if you're there for one day, let's get as much as you possibly can out of it. Let's go open to close. Let's drink coffee during the day to keep cruising. Kids get tired, take a break, give them an ice cream, and then they'll keep going. A little bit of something to cool them off, and cruise till the end, cruise till it closes. So it's a lot. I mean, if you've ever done a marathon day, you know what I mean. It's a lot, and it can do a number on kids. And I would not recommend, if you're doing multiple days, if you're going to do a marathon day, don't wake up and do another park the next morning, or you're going to have grumpy kids, or you're grumpy, or a grumpy spouse. I would take a day off if you're going to do a marathon day. But if you have one day and you want to go open to close, make sure you're going to rest, or maybe your plane ride and you sleep in the plane ride on the way home. But my number 4 is Marathon Day, open to close. What do you have for your number 4?
My number 4 is literally close it down. So I'm just going to add on to what you just said.
Oh, wow.
Because I believe that, yes, rope drop is the most important.
Yeah.
But the second most important thing is to not give a single second away.
Yeah.
Don't give it away. And if you happen to stay at a deluxe resort and you're at Epcot or Magic Kingdom and they have extra hours that night, stay. Close the place down.
Yep.
People will leave the parks, right? We do, right?
Yeah, we have.
We'll leave at
take
4.
A swim,
okay,
take a
I'm
quick
going.
nap.
If you stay to the end, things start clearing out. You're going to look at, if you're in Magic Kingdom and you look at the wait times, and all of a sudden you're going to see Haunted Mansion's 13 minutes. Well, we know what that means. It's a walk-on.
Yep.
If you're over at Epcot, you can do that whole front half of the park, with the exception of maybe Test Track.
Yeah.
You can certainly do Nemo. You can do
Figment.
You can do
Living
Soarin'. You can do Living with the Land.
Yep.
You can do all 4 of those probably as close to walk-ons.
Yes.
If not actual walk-ons. Close it down. And look, Rob's right. Don't do this to the detriment of your family's sanity.
Yeah.
However, you have to know you. But if I have one day and only one day, I'm getting my money's worth.
Yep.
And I'm gonna close it down. That particular thought process of getting everything out of it, you will be able to do everything in the park. Now, it's very difficult if you're trying to do everything in the park at Magic Kingdom, but certainly you can do everything in the park in Epcot. And the other reason I say close it down is because people don't realize this. After the fireworks are done, at Epcot it's not, but at Magic Kingdom, when the fireworks are done, that's not the end of the night.
Nope.
And you watch everybody, it's like a mass exodus. And if you just wait for people to walk by, you go back into Fantasyland, and it's like,
ride whatever you want to ride.
oh, Peter Pan's not a 90-minute wait now.
Huh.
Weird. I can walk onto all these rides. It's a totally different experience at night. If you're at Epcot, the fireworks are the close of the park, which is different. But in that case, maybe I would say forego watching the fireworks unless it's like an amazing show. Right now, they kind of went back to, was it Epcot Forever or whatever for a little bit. They're going to do the new show eventually, obviously, but
in the fall.
I think so. And that's a whole other thing. Let's go off on a sidetrack real quick.
Sure.
Epcot's doing a new show that's supposed to celebrate the 100 years of Disney. That's what I heard.
Yes.
So they did a 50th anniversary one for a hot 18 months.
At Magic Kingdom? Or do you mean the fireworks at Epcot?
At Epcot, Harmonious was also like a 50th thing.
Okay.
Right? I mean, it kind of was.
Which I loved.
I loved it too. Now they're doing a 100th. So
Okay.
that's going to go, like, come up with something, just make it steady. I don't understand this need to, especially the amount of money they keep dumping into us.
I think they're
Don't-
throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah, well, they're throwing something at the wall. Tacos, water tacos. Anyway, my number 4 and Rob's number 4 was close the place down,
Yeah.
open to close marathon day.
Yep.
So I kind of split mine. Rob put his all into one of a long marathon day. I said, rope drop and
Yep.
early entry, and then 4 was close it down. He kind of lumped that into one. It's not cheating. It's not, you're not trying if you're not cheating anyway. All right, go ahead.
Number 3, I have not done. Number 3 takes a very particular Disney goer, very particular personality, and a very particular work ethic and drive. Okay, I know that's a crazy setup. But my number 3 is park hop all 4 parks.
Oh, man.
I would love to do it. And I have that on my Disney list. It's not a bucket list. That's separate. We do have a bucket list episode, which feel free to check out with Rob from Ear Scouts.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
What number was it?
7.
7. Go back and listen to that. That's a great one. Shout out to our friends at Ear Scouts. So park hop all 4. I haven't done it. Okay, I've watched videos of people who've done it before. It looks fun, but some people, that may be too much. It's a lot. It's an adventure and a half. Someday I will do it. Someday I will.
I don't know that I could do it.
I would love to for the challenge. I love challenges like that, to be able to, and on my honorable mention, the honorable mention I have Ride Every Ride. Okay, and that didn't make my list, but we've done that at Magic Kingdom before, and we fell short of 2 rides when we did that. We came very close in our family, but park hop all 4. Now I've park hopped before. I've done 2 days at Disney, and we've split each day half and half, and that's definitely doable and not too crazy. I still haven't done 3, and I haven't done 4. So I just think if you have one day there and you're very adventurous and you want to experience everything, you could try to park hop all 4 parks.
So here's my logistics brain going and working a little bit of overtime here.
Sure.
If you do that, you should start at Animal Kingdom, in my opinion. Okay. You should then take transportation probably to Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
Because you can knock out if you rope drop Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
You can get most of that done before noon.
I know your whole plan by where you're starting, but continue. That's a great idea.
You should go to Magic.
I know what you're gonna say.
You should go to
It's
Magic
great.
Kingdom.
Yep.
You should hop on a monorail.
Monorail over to Epcot.
Monorail over to Epcot.
Yep.
You can walk from the front to the back, stopping at the things you want to do along the way. You walk out the back entrance of. Now you got to choose at that point. Do you want to go? Because I don't think you have time for the whole World Showcase.
No.
So are you Team Mexico or Team Canada?
Depends on time.
Yeah.
I mean, you may just want to go Team Canada and then maybe visit France and then hit the back exit there.
Yep. And then you're gonna go through the International Gateway, jump on the Skyliner,
Yep.
and finish your night off in Batu.
Yep. Well, no, you got one more park, because then you got to go after Batu. You got to go over to Animal Kingdom.
I already started there.
Oh, you started at Animal Kingdom.
said
I thought you started at Magic Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom in the morning.
Oh,
Maybe.
Oh, and that's great, because then if you're at Animal Kingdom in the morning,
you get that out of the way.
Flight of Passage, or if you're an animal guy like I am, you could go on the safari and see all the animals in the morning.
Maybe that's more doable than I thought.
I think it might be.
What if you?
It's pretty streamlined.
What if we do the mountain challenge?
Oh, that'd be cool too.
So we do all the mountains. Now, what's the
including
mountain?
Everest?
Yeah. So you got but there's no mountains in the other one. I don't know. We'll figure this out. We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
This will be we should make that like our first ever live.
Yes.
It is a 24-hour marathon live.
When we finally go back together with our families again, that's going to be one of the days that we'll do. That'll be really fun. I think our families may want to sit that one out and do something separate.
It'd probably be a Nick and Rob show
I
that
think
day.
that would be fun.
Yeah, I don't know that I could do it, but that sounds like hey, I like a challenge too.
Yeah.
So that was
Park hop all 4. You get the best of everything.
So that was your number 3?
That was my number 3, even though it has the number 4 in it.
So your number 3, or your number 4, you kind of lumped together my 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And the reason I didn't really call you out for cheating, and I kind of said, hey, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Well, because my theme was it's a marathon day.
Right. So that's not really cheating. And so my number 3 is also not cheating.
Okay.
And my number 3 is buy all the things. And by what I mean by that is all the extras. So you got to buy Genie Plus. I know we just complained about it in the opening.
Okay.
But you got to buy Genie Plus, and you got to buy, if you need to, individual lightning lanes or / virtual queue.
Sure.
So for me, at Epcot, I would try to get a virtual queue for Guardians. I suspect, I'm worried, that by the time I get there this summer, virtual queue is going to be gone.
Well,
and it's going to be standby. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to pay.
I would pay.
I'm going to pay for individual lightning lane. And
Yeah.
I know that sounds ridiculous. I know I just complained about Genie Plus. To me, I probably wouldn't buy Genie Plus because it's not going to be my only day in Epcot. But if I only have one day in Epcot, I'm paying, or in any park, I'm going to pay up for Genie Plus. I'm going to pay up for anything I can't get a virtual queue for but has an individual lightning lane.
Yeah.
It sounds silly. It's giving the mouse a lot more money. But here's the thing. If I've got one day, I really, really need to experience it all. That's the way to do it, is to do that. So for me, that's mine. And I would also add in add-ons like, potential extras. For instance, at Epcot, the Behind the Seeds tour, at Animal Kingdom, up close with the rhinos. I was actually chatting with Jessica, who requested this episode last night on Instagram, and she said that they did the elephants one that we were going to do, and we changed our mind because of we read some bad reviews of the elephant one, and Jessica said she had an absolutely magical time, that it was amazing. But she did say that she also heard the same kinds of reviews that we had, and the cast member made it clear that theirs was a very special one to have had. So that was really cool that they got that experience. We're doing the rhinos one this summer. We're doing Behind the Seeds, mostly because I figured, hey, let's make some content. I'll pay some money and make some content. It'll be fun, and we'll have some cool stuff to talk about this summer. But so my number 3 is paying for the extras: Genie Plus, individual lightning lane, those special different things you can do, like the Behind the Seeds tour, all that stuff. Just pay for it all. I know it's ridiculous. I just got done complaining about it, but you know what? That's why they raised the prices, is because I'm not voting with my wallet yet. I'm paying.
So. My number 2 is use Genie Plus.
Okay. All right.
So when we went out to Disneyland, we had one day at Disneyland Park. We had one day at California Adventure. And, generally we don't want to have to spend extra money if we don't need to. But I had the conversation with my wife. I'm like, we're going to be here one day. Let's just do it and try to hit as much as we can. And it was really beneficial because we did most, not all, of the rides that Walt Disney World doesn't have. So we used Genie Plus both days to knock off everything that we could, because we knew we had just one day, and we tried to skip the lines and maximize our time. So I'm going to piggyback, and you mentioned a lot of it already, but if you have one day, get the most out of, obviously it's not necessarily bang for your buck, but it gives you time back.
I mean, let me ask you this. You said, I've made no bones about it. I've said this, for me, it'd be Epcot. For you, I'm assuming if you had one day, it'd be Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest with you. Genie Plus in Magic Kingdom is, to me, actually makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's because there's so much, and you can do a ton in that park just by, having Genie Plus and skip this, skip that, skip this. There's the most things to do there. And if they're going to expand the Magic Kingdom like they say they're going to, it's going to help with capacity, but also you're going to want Genie Plus even more to help get you on those, hard to get rides.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say that Genie Plus saves you the most time in that park. I don't know for sure. I'd have to go and look at some of the data. We've got a few followers that we also follow back on Instagram that do, I think it's mouse data, mouse metrics. I'm sorry if I'm screwing you guys up, but they do a whole bunch of like data driven stuff, which I am a stats guy. So that, and also Touring Plans talks about this a lot.
Yeah.
I think it saves them. I think Genie Plus saves you the most time. Sorry, not money. Although time is money.
Yeah.
Saves you the most time in Magic Kingdom.
Hollywood Studios has to be a close second, though.
Yeah, because the Genie Plus saves because there's not as many rides.
Right, but
yeah.
I would say compared to Magic Kingdom, there's more things that are more of like an e-ticket attraction there. There aren't as many things, but they have a lot of like big gun rides.
Right, and
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and therefore their lines are longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so obviously I don't disagree because I had it at number 3. You had it at number 2.
Yeah, so get Genie Plus, and if anyone is looking to go out to Disneyland, and depending on how much time you have, and I know, Nick was talking about potentially stopping there if and when he ever goes out to the Aulani Resort in Hawaii, that I would recommend to Nick or any of our listeners really to get Genie Plus just to maximize your time, just to get everything that you want to be able to do. So set aside some extra money for that. It's going to be worth it.
So Rob has already mentioned some time about food, and I know he was kind of a little shocked that I didn't mention, or that I told him like, hey, table service, that's actually the antithesis of what I would do with one day. So that doesn't mean I'm skipping food, because for me, as I've said, I'm going to be in Epcot. Eat or drink your way around the world is my number 2.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I did not think that way. But if you are a foodie, or you're like a craft beer person, or you enjoy a good drink, that would be cool. So that's a great idea.
So if I have one day in the parks, I've already said it would be at Epcot. Let me just give you the general feel for people who are not Epcot people. What I would say is, this could be interchanged with, instead of eat or drink your way around the world, would be try all the little snacks, the unique snacks to that park. So that would be my recommendation to anybody going, is skip the table service and actually get snacks that are unique. So like, for instance, the cheeseburger spring rolls or over in Magic Kingdom, or maybe you're getting the corn dog nuggets at Casey's Corner. But you're something that's unique to that park. Maybe you're getting a Ronto wrap over in Batu. When we talk about, for me, being Epcot, there's almost always a festival going on now.
Yeah.
Right? Very few weeks of the year where there's no festival going on. I'm going to be there during Food and Wine again this summer. I loved it the first time. I'm excited to go back. But even when you're not there for a festival, so last year we missed the festival by... Well, you were there for one of the days, but
our last day was there the first day.
We missed it by a couple days, and so we didn't have that experience. It doesn't matter. There's still little food carts at every single one of the countries, and they all have very unique snacks. So my number 2 is just to eat or drink your way around World Showcase.
Yeah, that's a fun one. And even our family, where we have dietary restrictions, it kind of becomes a scavenger hunt. Mm-hmm. So we'll look at the list and look for that little G next to everything. Okay, what can we eat? Cool, let's try it out. When we did Festival of the Holidays, that was the one time where my wife and I went by ourselves, and our kids were with family and over in Oakland outside of Orlando. And that's kind of what we did, is we looked at the list and said, let's try everything that we can try that has a G next to it. And we did, and it was a lot of fun. Some food was real crazy, some was mega spicy, and some food, like my wife got the traditional American turkey dinner, and she goes, I love that. We're going back. It's you never know what's gonna really be that good.
Yeah.
So that's a really good one.
Yeah, I had at Food and Wine 2 years ago, I had a crispy pig ear salad, and I know what you're thinking. That sounds disgusting.
Nah, I like pork rinds.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're kind of like that, except for their pig ears. It was great. There's so many things that you'll just be shocked how good they taste. So, yep, my number 2 is eat or drink your way around the world.
All right, my grand finale is it's a tradition in our family, but I think this is kind of the quintessential thing to do if you are going to Disney. Everyone is expecting that they are going to see a photo of you in front of Cinderella's castle. That's the quintessential thing, is just getting that photo. Doesn't matter if you're there for 2 weeks or you're there for a day. When you post that photo, and it's not about like showing off for me necessarily. It's more about that memory for us. We have in our house, we have framed photos of every time we've been, and every time there's a photo of us in front of the castle. And here in my left hand, I'm holding up the photo of our family and Nick's family all together in front of the castle. And that's a very cool, very special moment for us, is that's our tradition, is we want to maintain our tradition. So it's kind of a little bit of both. It's for the common listeners, get a picture in front of Cinderella Castle or in front of Spaceship Earth or your favorite thing, but
Your
also
favorite weenie.
Right, your favorite weenie. And that's that is Walt's term. The weenie is the thing that
We didn't talk about that on this show. It was on Rope Drop and
Yeah,
Bark Off.
so
We talked about it.
Walt's term weenie represents the thing that leads you into the park, and that's based on his term. The dog would follow an actual dog would follow the hot dog, the weenie, towards whatever it is. So the humans are going towards the castle,
Yeah.
or Spaceship Earth or whatever. But my number 1 is kind of 2 things. It is get your picture in front of Cinderella Castle and whatever your tradition is. So our tradition is getting that photo as a family in front of Cinderella Castle. So I don't know. It's 2 things, but it's the same thing, I guess.
No,
it's kind of hard to explain.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. For me, I would broaden that and just say whatever your favorite park
Icon.
There we go.
Instead
icon.
of using term weenie.
Yeah, your favorite park icon or favorite monument or like whatever you want, landmark.
Mm-hmm.
Get your picture there. We always do the same thing. We always get a picture there. We always get a picture in front of Spaceship Earth. We always get a picture in front of the train station. Whatever they got in the flower bed at that time. Sometimes it's fall inspired because we're there during Halloween. Sometimes it's not. But I agree with you totally, and it's not on my list. And now I kind of like, this happens a lot, right? Where the list goes on. You're like, man, I should have put that on my
both
list.
of us all the time.
So that probably should have been on my list. It's not. My number 1 actually is something that maybe is a little counterintuitive. This is the first one on my list that I'm going to say really doesn't apply as much to Epcot, which is the park I would go to, but does apply to all the other ones. And that is, do good rides, not great rides. Let me explain.
Sure.
If you go to Epcot, if you go to Hollywood Studios, if you go to Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom, and all you want to ride are the really great rides, you are going to spend a lot of time in line.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You can get a lot more done if you say, I'm not going to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and wait 90 minutes. It's a good ride. It's a great ride.
I'm going to do Winnie the Pooh, Little Mermaid, Small World.
In the amount of time that you spend in that line, you could meet a character. You could ride 2 other rides. You could walk over and go do the Liberty Bell and do the you could do Haunted Mansion. Skip the rides that are going to be taking the most amount of your time. It's not because, I'm not saying this because I don't think those rides are worthy. They are worthy, but they're also worthy of the 90-minute wait. They're not worthy of a 90-minute wait if you've only got one day.
Yeah.
So, when I'm thinking of, like, for instance, in Epcot, if you showed up and you waited 90 minutes for a Remy and you waited and you wait an hour for Frozen Ever After.
And Test Track too.
And you wait an hour for Test Track.
Yeah.
And by this summer or sometime soon, there's probably going to be a standby queue for Guardians. You wait an hour and a half there.
That's a huge chunk of your day.
You're at 5 hours already. And at that point, you're losing the return on investment isn't as great. And the same can be said of like Hollywood studios, because like Rob just said, Hollywood studios, they have big hitter rides that take forever.
Yeah, long waits.
So, determine, do you want to wait in line for Rise and for, let's say, Rock and Roller Coaster and Hollywood Tower of Terror? Well, Hollywood Tower of Terror has gotten better now that both sides are operational. Last summer, we lucked out, but there were days when it was like 90 plus minutes to wait to get on there because only one side was operational.
Yeah.
So for me, and I know that seems like counterintuitive that I'm saying ride good rides, not great rides.
No, you're getting the best out of one day, and that's a really good strategy.
I guess my point is you're going to make more memories on more rides that are the grand total sum of the parts are greater than that one moment you got on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or that one moment you got on Remy. Remy's a great ride. Guardians is a great ride. But if you don't have the money to pay for the Genie Plus or to pay for the individual Lightning Lane, skip that long wait and do a lot more. And I think you'll find that you won't miss out. You won't miss as much as you might think you would.
This is kind of a good one too for families with younger kids, or let's say you're a new family and you have younger kids and you don't have $1 million to spend. It's a really good plan because you don't have to wait very long in lines. You get to do a lot of things. So for kids with super short attention spans, you can zip on all the different rides. And if it's your first time taking your kids to Disney, then you have a chance to go back and do all those other things. That's a really good way to look at it. So we're getting different perspectives here. So Nick's number one plan here is do the what'd you call them? The good rides, not the great rides.
The good rides, not the great rides.
Sure. Or you can pay for Genie Plus and skip. That's another method you can use. I said park hop all four and zip from park to park. Marathon day, go from open to close. What else? I'm forgetting one from your list. Another way to do it.
I said rope drop, and then rope drop / early entry, and then number 4 for me was the close it down.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this, and a lot of. You want to do honorable mentions?
The only honorable mention I really had beyond what we've already talked about was that to actually think about possibly if you're gonna be there for one day, you got to think about, am I doing Epcot or Magic Kingdom? I don't think at any one point did I think about Hollywood Studios or Animal Kingdom. So my honorable mention would be to not do those, but do either Magic Kingdom or Epcot. So that's just it. But that, we kind of talked about it, so it's not really an honorable mention so much because it's what we both were centered on anyway.
I only had 2. One I mentioned a little bit earlier, and that's try to ride every ride. Do like one of those challenges.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself to see if you can get on every ride in a park. It's a little easier in a park that has less. It's a little harder in Magic Kingdom. And then my last one, if you have one day, meet Mickey.
Oh, yeah.
Go see Mickey.
Meet a character. You're right.
Yep. Yeah, or any character. Get your photo. Just get that opportunity to meet Mickey. You're in Disney. Yeah. Try to find Mickey Mouse. And Mickey's there's different places in all the parks. I don't want to name them all specifically right now, but just in my head they're all popping up.
Go to your app, type in Mickey, and or meet Mickey or whatever. You're gonna find, or whatever character you want to meet.
And it's important to know that you can meet Mickey at all the parks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. So before we wrap things up, I just wanted to say you could find us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We're all on all of those social media outlets. It's at DizListPod. You can go to patreon.com/DizListPod to subscribe because we do some fun, unique episodes that are mini episodes. And in fact, we're going to record one right after we sign off here about what our dream day would look like. So these were our top 5 tips. We're going to talk about what would our dream day look like at Disney. So it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.